All right, guys, I've just gone through and I've finished I'm finished playing the first three missions for the new Halo Combat Evolved campaign Evolved. Sorry, I have thoughts. Um, so opening verdict. Opening verdict. The gameplay is strong. It's the strongest part. The campaign feels good. Performance is smooth. The missions are generally faithful to the Halo mechanically. The entire bonus campaign takes roughly 2 to 3 hours, depending how fast you want to do it. The problem's not the gameplay team. The gameplay team really did nail this. The problem is the writing, especially Lieutenant Williams and the way that Sergeant Johnson is used to promote her. So the missions barely establish what is happening. So Chief begins by arriving in the Covenant hangar. The opening gives a little explanation for why Chief and Johnson are there, except to get intel. What their original mission was, so you don't know why they were in the sector. They don't know how they found out about this mission or this ship or whatever. You don't know what immediately happened beforehand. There's a scene later where you're actually flying through debris, and they talk about the fact that it's like walking through an ash of a burnt building, but you don't know who. You assume it's Earth because of the debris, but you don't know what happened. You don't know who was on board or anything like that. You don't know whose ship was destroyed. You don't know which one it was. You don't see a name or anything like that, as far as I know. There's no. You don't even know why this enormous debris field even exists. It's that they tell you it's there and they don't really explain it. Chief and Johnson barely mention the wreckage. By the game never properly shows or explains the event. You're starting in the middle of an action that can work, sure, but the player still needs context, and there's none when it comes to this. Here it feels like it's a deliberate mystery, and more like the setup was simply just not put in. It was like they rushed to do this 2 or 3 hour campaign. You're expected to care about the destruction of the ship, but there's no one without being shown who was on board, why, or why it matters, or anything. You just expected to care. The game gives us the aftermath of an important event, but doesn't actually give us the event itself. And that's the terrible irony. Lieutenant Williams is immediately unlikable. Williams reportedly speaks to Chief with contempt. She dismisses him as fancy armor, propaganda, public relations, an overhyped Spartan, basically. It's not just one isolated joke or one moment of distrust. It's constant all the way through. She keeps returning to the same insults throughout the mission. She keeps saying things like, not bad for a suit of armor or not bad for a propaganda or anything like that. Later dialogue continues the idea that she is surprised that propaganda can actually shoot. Not joking, she says that. Instead of developing her personally, the script makes insulting Chief the main personality trait, which is bad because he's supposed to be the hero. He's supposed to be our boy, right? Fucking Chief all the way. The one skeptical comment could establish the ODST's resentment. So they could easily say, and they did talk about why the ODSTs don't like the Spartans. But instead of just saying, and showing the mistrust or whatnot, it's just a constant dig at Chief. It's just repeating the same condescending attitude for hours. It makes her exhausting. I was literally trying to kill her during the playthrough. And by the way, there's times when you can't even kill her. She's got She takes all the damage, but she doesn't die. There was once when an elite actually stabs her and kills her with a sword, and I was actually cheering for the elite. The ODST explanation does not excuse the writing. Some ODSTs historically resent Spartans. That's true, yes, but that gives the writers a reasonable foundation for tension, not for this condensation. Try to think of the word, but I can't. It's like, it does not mean that ODSTs automatically behave like assholes towards the Spartans, right? The Marines around Williams appear to respect Chief, and that's what she doesn't. Williams is the one constantly antagonizing him. She's constantly praising Johnson, and Johnson's constantly praising her, but she'll always leave Chief out of it most of the time. The pride and rivalry could have been conveyed without making her insufferable. But a couple of the ODSTs could challenge Chief personally while still reconciling or recognizing what the ODSTs and the Spartans and that have done. Chief and Johnson help rescue her people. They help rescue the Marines. Williams had escaped her immediate confinement. Chief and Johnson then help free the remaining Marine prisoners from the Covenant captivity. Chief saves her squad is slightly implies it's harder to argue the version is that Chief just had help rescue her unit from the Covenant captivity. Despite receiving that help, Williams continues to talk down to him. Now, I don't know about you, but if someone just rescued my team, or my guys, or my teammates, or my servicemen, I'd be thankful and be a little bit respectful. She's not. It makes her hostility feel ungrateful rather than principled. Sergeant Johnson becomes her personal cheerleader throughout the whole game. Johnson himself is mostly recognizable. His voice, his humor, his general personality are still present. The problem is how often the scripts make him praise Williams. It's like when you're like when you got a mate that really likes a girl and he fancies a girl and he's constantly praising her every time she does something. I know he doesn't like it that way, but that's what it's like. The problem is how often the script makes him praise Williams. It's almost constant. Every time she does something, it's always, "Way to go, Williams!" Yeah, or the sort of thing. So almost every time Williams does anything, Johnson seems to respond with, "Good work, LT. That's it, LT. Show them, LT." Constant approval and encouragement. It becomes so excessive that Johnson no longer feels like a character and instead feels like her cheer support. He feels like the writers are standing beside Williams, telling the player, "You got to admire her. Look how great she is." And this is where it sort of comes into the sort of the progressive, woke sort of stuff, right? They're going on about, they're constantly trying to reinforce with you how great she is. But you don't know why they say that because you don't see it. The first interaction you have is her taking shots at Chief. And that's why we've got the thumbnail, which is basically Sergeant Johnson dressing up as a cheerleader. The script uses Johnson's established popularity to lend Williams credibility. And that's what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to say to you, like here's Sergeant Johnson. He's great. You love him. Therefore, you must love Williams. Because he's praising her. So if you like him, you should like her. Instead of allowing her to earn the player's respect, it borrows Johnson's respect and repeatedly tells the player that she deserves admiration. It feels like Johnson had a crush on her, but it's not. It's this feminist third wave, sort of fourth wave, whatever we're up to now, with constant just validation. It's probably not the writer's intention to make it feel like he has a crush on her. It's more like the intent was that Johnson respects her, therefore the player should respect her. But its problem is it's constant and becomes unnatural. He stops sounding like a fellow soldier and starts sounding like her hype man. Williams is told to be impressive rather than written to be impressive. So the story repeatedly insists that she's tough, capable, fearless, respectful, heroic. Johnson's constantly praising her. She talks herself up. She talks down to Chief. The game keeps signaling that she's important, but the player is not allowed to reach that conclusion themselves or naturally. It's this core girl boss writing problem. You know, the status is announced. It's not earned. The respect is demanded. It's not sort of earned. Established characters validate her, and the criticism of the established hero substitutes for character development. Her sacrifice fails emotionally. Sorry. So we're getting to spoilers here, but at the end, Williams utterly sacrifices herself to destroy the Covenant ship, or enables its destruction. It's clearly intended to complete her character arc, but the problem is that the player, presumably supported is supposed to think that she was abrasive. Sorry, the player is presumably supposed to think that she was abrasive, but she was brave, and now we understand her, and her death is tragic. But the game has spent the previous missions making her unbearable. The heroic death cannot automatically create an emotional attachment. By the time that she sacrifices herself, the reaction is not sadness, it's relief. I'm glad she's dead, because I don't have to hear her anymore. I was generally happy when the Covenant killed her during the gameplay. I found yourself cheering for the Elite when he did it, even though he just killed me. And when she finally does sacrifice herself at the end, you're not mourning her. You were thinking, thank God she's dead. The viral punch clip makes complete sense after playing it. Before playing, the clips could have looked like people reacting to one badly chosen line. But after completing the missions, it's clear the line was representative of her entire personality. Players are waiting for her to finish insulting Chief and then punch her. That's what the clip shows, right? The humor is not random NPC abuse. It's catharticism. The audience dislikes Williams and enjoys using the game mechanic to answer her disrespect. The meme works because the viewers immediately understand why the player hits her. The existing female Halo characters prove the issue is not women. Halo fans generally did not reject Kelly 087, Kat B320, Linda 058, Cortana, Miranda Keys, or any other established female character. In fact, Halsey is at the end there. There's a video recording, you hear Halsey's voice. As soon as I heard it, the first thing I said was, and you watch the video, you'll see, the first thing I say is, Halsey! Sort of thing, right? Because I was glad to hear her. Kelly and Kate were capable female Spartans from different generations, but their competence was demonstrated through actions. They did not need to establish themselves by constantly insulting Chief. In fact, Kelly was always listening to Chief, following his orders, and following his lead. Williams is disliked because of her personality and writing, not merely because she's female. And nobody had a problem with Kelly or Kat. Williams is disliked because of her condescending character who's constantly disrespecting Chief, while the script demands that everybody praise her. The writers have damaged Johnson while trying to elevate Williams too. This is the worst part about it. Williams is not only Williams is not only character affected. Johnson loses some of his independence because of so much of his dialogues exists to validate her. An established character is being used to tool and manufacture approval for a newcomer. This damages both characters, Williams and Johnson. Williams feels authentically promoted. Johnson feels unnaturally submissive. A better version would have allowed Johnson to respect her competence, disagree with her disrespect towards Chief, and maintain his own authority and personality. Williams could have been better written, given her general reason for distrusting Spartans. Show a past incident where Spartans' operations cost her people their lives. Let her be wary rather than immediately contemptuous. Let Chief earn her trust through actions. Reduce the number of sarcastic comments. Stop giving Johnson praise every minor success. Stop having Johnson, praise every minor success. And give Williams quieter moments where she reveals fear, guilt, loyalty, responsibility for her Marines. Let her sacrifice follow an actual emotional relationship with Chief and Johnson. Make the player think, I did not like her at first, but she earned my respect. Instead of existing version produces, I dislike her at first, I continue to dislike her, and I'm glad when she's dead. The most frustrating part about this is that missions prove that Halo Studios can still produce enjoyable Halo content. But the gameplay and optimization appear competent. The new material could have been an easy victory. But instead, the narrative team inserted a character who dominates the conversation for all the wrong reasons. The technical team built something enjoyable, and the writing team made the audience remember Johnson's cheering and Williams being punched. Halo Combat Evolved bonus missions are fun to play, smooth and mechanically faithful, but the story is unexpected or unexplained. Lieutenant Williams is relentlessly condescending. Sergeant Johnson is reduced to her personal cheer squad. Her final sacrifice is supposed to be tragic, but the writers made me relieved to see her go. It's not a successful character arc. Like I said, at the end of it, I was glad that she was gone. I don't know, guys. Look, personally, if anyone said to me, would you recommend buying it? I'd say no. Go and buy the Master Chief Collection. It's probably cheaper. It's a lot more faithful. Although, if you don't play the new bonus missions, it would probably be alright. It's just, they really do ruin it. Guys, let me know your thoughts in that comment section below. The video's been helpful. Please smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. But guys, yeah, apart from that, look, I would just skip them. Just start at the campaign. It'll probably leave a better taste in your mouth.